All set?
Here we go.
All right. Then we begin. My friend, I'm sending you back into the game world of Dungeons and Dragons, to the town of Fallcrest, as a visage of your younger self. As always, you're the only one who knows this world is imaginary. Everyone else is convinced that their reality is the one true one. You've recently learned how to use an old Fey offering dish that you bought at a trinket stand, and successfully lured a Fey creature into service. Your pet dire rat, Skaven, is growing fast. Nearly a foot long now, not including the tail. The larger he gets, the harder it will be to keep him a secret. Just yesterday, you joined the ranks of the Fallcrest Militia. No sooner had you completed training, the militia were attacked by 3 orc archers, hiding in a nearby tree line. Lieutenant Ripper of the town guard ordered you to follow him in pursuit of the orcs, who fled to a nearby cave, with a rope leading down to a deep hole. You killed an orc yourself, aided Lieutenant Ripper in chopping the rope, as the 2 orcs fled down into it. You appear in your room above the tavern. It is dawn. A rooster crows as the sound of hammers echo out across Fallcrest. Presently, you've got nothing going on, but quests and subquests will present themselves during your room.
What time is it again? Morning?
Dawn.
Alright.
First thing.
I head downstairs. And, busy walk outside.
Alright.
Go venture into town a little bit.
As you're heading through the downstairs area, you see that Lieutenant Ripper of the town guard is at the bar talking to Carl, the owner and bartender. And Ripper has a leather satchel sheathed over his shoulder. He sees you, excuses himself from Carl, and kind of says, "Hey, Graymond." Reaches into the pack, pulls out the axe that belonged to the orc that you'd killed.
The ugly beam-bladed axe.
Oh yeah, it's an old battle-worn orc axe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And he holds it out, says, "Thought you might want this. You earned it."
I take it. I'm flattered. Say thank you.
Says you can keep it as a souvenir or sell it at the market. I hear there's some of the folk in Hightown will pay a high price for this collectibles.
Kind of look the blade over. Say I'll think about it.
You handled yourself real well out there yesterday. Says the town guard could use a man like you. Says, "Can you swim?"
Kind of do one of these. Like
And he says, "Well, I've seen what you can do. Like, well, I've seen you in combat. You got what it takes. But guards need to be able to swim. At least a basic dog battle." He says, "You learn to swim. We'd be happy to have you in the guard. I'm sure we could find a place for you. Makes use of your talents."
With the axe over my shoulder. So, where should I go?
He says, "Well, you can teach yourself." He says, "My old man threw me in the water before I could walk. I just figured it out. So I'm told. But just find a shallow body of water and start with a back float. Then tread water. It's just this." He says, "Once you can switch between the two, work on your dog paddle. So if you can get across the river, that'll be enough." Quest: Aquaman. Train 1 rank in the swim skill, and you will receive 3 luck points. He tells you he needs to be on his way. Wishes you a good day.
I shake his hand. take him again.
Absolutely. He goes on his way.
So I have this oxygen string. I kind of want to keep it because
It is up to you, entirely up to you.
I'm gonna put it in my room for now. Go back
Sure.
upstairs.
Okay.
Just set it somewhere.
Cool.
Okay. So learn to swim. Alright, so you learn how to swim. I think I'll switch back to the rags I used to wear for this.
Okay.
Not wear my good stuff.
Sure.
Put the axe away, leave the inn, and go in the city.
Sure.
I would just simply walk across the fields.
Okay.
Head straight to water.
All right. So water gets pretty deep. You could drown in there.
So should I head... Where's it? Oh, maybe that river here, where it's more shallow.
Sure.
Walk north.
Okay. You see shallows out as it forks off.
Alright, so... Said to start with the back float.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Walk down to the river.
Okay. Roll a 10 or higher to properly perform the back float.
Oh.
Now, you have 3...
Struggle.
You have, you can spend 3 of the Fey luck points to re-roll. Don't forget,
That's true.
if you want. Or you can spend luck points to take it up, or a success point. But I wouldn't waste a success point on it.
I'm gonna use the point to reroll.
Okay. You nail it.
That's great.
Your monk training has benefited you greatly in control and form, and so your breathing is mildly panicked at first, as that goes. You know, when you're trying to do something new in the water, but very quickly evens out, and you control yourself, and you just float there peacefully. Get ripped out by the current and dragged through the rapids. Very good.
Alright.
Roll a 10 or higher to tread water. Very good. With minimal effort, you are able to maintain your position in water that is deeper than your footing. Not by much, and you're able to, push yourself back if you need to.
Yeah, got baby steps.
Yes, exactly.
Like right in the mouth where it makes ears.
You perform it successfully, and I almost turn to the dog paddle. 10 or higher.
Oh. I'll spend luck points for that to match it.
Take it up to 10?
Yep.
Alright. It's a little rough going at first, but after a few moments of struggle, you get the rhythm down, and you can feel yourself kind of filling with confidence as you propel yourself forward, maintaining buoyancy. And you are able to continue, as it's not terribly far, continue to swim straight across to the other side. And you do, and step out on the other end, get your footing. Quest completed.
And 5 gains free, ain't too bad.
Okay. Well, what do you do?
Imagine I should report back to Ripper.
Let him know you can swim?
Yep.
Alright.
Not sure back at the inn, or if I know where he normally hangs out.
You're not sure where he normally hangs out, but there are kind of like guard posts. There are guard posts throughout the town. He could be at one of them. You're not entirely sure, though. There's a lot of places he could be.
Alrighty. I think I will actually go back to the inn real quick. I'm gonna change.
Sure thing.
Get all cleaned up and whatnot. Head back out so he's not ashed at the end.
After you switch into your finer clothes and head downstairs, you see that Aramil, the elf, is standing near the bar. Carl's in the back. He's not up front, but the elf is standing there, seems to be waiting, and judging from the reaction, seems to be waiting for you as you step down the stairs into the first floor, to the tavern area.
So I notice him noticing me. I'll walk up to him.
Says, Master Graymond tells you that the town council has asked him to investigate the pit into which the orcs fled. They want him to determine where they came from and hopefully pick up some tracks. Normally he'd take Ripper with him, but the lieutenant is busy today with reinforcing town security in the wake of the attack. Ripper suggested that he bring you along if you're willing and able.
This makes sense to me. Gotta investigate where they came from. Yeah, I agree full-heartedly.
He says, well, we must move quickly.
I say we can head on immediately.
Very good.
Let's do it.
Begins heading out. We must be back by nightfall. Main quest. How to track an orc. Learn basic tracking skills from Aramil, and you will receive 5 luck points and 1 success point, as well as the tracking feat.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
This would be very awesome.
Do you want to bring Skaven along
To this?
for this?
Yeah, I could bring him to this.
Alright. You confide in Aramil that you have, alright. He, more interested in that than anything else, and says that he'll not reveal your secret to anyone. But that, in fact, the rat could come in useful if it even has the most basic of loyalty training to you, which of course it does. He says rats, dire rats especially, can smell their way out of nearly any maze, natural caverns included.
Sweet.
It could be useful. Put him in the backpack?
Yep.
Alright, he gets right in.
Leave it open a little bit so you can pop it out.
Sure. He does, and occasionally sniffs out.
Sweet.
Alright, very good. So, alright, you're here. And the cave entrance is around here.
Yep.
Head through the wooded area. Get to the cave. Points this way. And says, I believe many of these tunnels lead out a few miles south of town into the Moon Hills. Sort of a lightly forested, rocky hill area south of Fallcrest.
It's a perfect place for parkour.
Yes, it is.
Basically.
Yes. Alright.
So he believes he went this way?
He says, well, what does your rat think?
I'll take the backpack off and open it up. Let him scrape on the ground.
Gets out, runs around, stands on 2 legs, sniffs, runs around over here, stands on 2 legs, sniffs, kind of runs around, does it again, and begins to scurry off this way. Runs a little ways ahead till you can't see him, but then as you move this way, you kind of see that he's waiting around the other curve.
Sweet.
You can pull him back with the luring of a piece of cheese, or you can let him keep guiding the way forward.
I'm gonna keep going.
Alright, he does so. Aramil follows behind you. Head inside. These are stalagmites. There's a rope tied around one of them. It descends into the pit. has he has like an adventuring pack with him, and in it are a few small, but they look like well-crafted torches, probably a finer quality, built to burn for longer.
Elf torches.
Mm-hmm.
High quality. He would.
Elven torches, yes.
Yeah.
He's not going to have some thing grabbed off a wall in a dank dungeon.
There's like gold wrapped on it. Basically a work of art we're going to start on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So he hands one to you.
Ladies first. Oh. Type thing.
He'll just spark catches on it, takes a light. You're able to see with greater clarity. And when you stand over the edge, kind of hold it over, it dimly lights a cavern floor about 20 feet below. But you see only one orc body lying there, when you're sure that two had gone down when you had cut the rope.
Alright, well, I kind of figured we'd be running orcs in this place, probably.
Mm.
So I very coyly ask him, legitimately, you first?
He nods and descends down.
Shortly after.
He tells you to toss down the torch.
Toss it to him.
Right, toss it down. He, with great dexterity, snatches it as it kind of and holds it. Steps aside, waits for you to climb down. You've built up a lot of arm strength and grip, so you're able to descend easily enough that we can waive a skill check because it's so basic, at least for you.
Nice.
It's basic. You descend and set foot down onto the floor below. There's a dead orc lying face down there. Aramil hands the torch back to you. Aramil is keenly looking over the site. Roll search.
Got a lot of fives in this dice. Eyes closed.
He says,
What's going on?
he asks, do you see anything out of the ordinary here? With that roll. You'd have to say you do not, unless you want to raise it or roll again with a luck point. Then I could have you say that you notice something.
Actually, yeah, I want to re-roll that.
Okay.
Five. Three.
That looked cocked to me.
So what, you want me to re-roll
Yeah,
again?
it looked a little cocked.
Alright. God spoke.
Alright. Points at the orc. He says, his arrows are gone. So is his canteen. Points down at the floor and gestures for you to lower the light so you can see the surface of the ground more clearly. And then you can see it. You can see that there is like a kind of a blood smear. There's blood that's poured out from the body, and there's a smear nearby it. Points out that there's coagulated blood that's been recently smeared. So what he thinks, he says his guess is that the other orc survived the fall, but lay unconscious long enough for the blood to pool around him. But when he got up, it kind of smeared and streaked around it.
Interesting.
He says the arrows are gone, which could indicate that the orc had broken a leg and used it to splint a bone. You know, kind of wrap the arrows around the leg,
Around the
and
limb.
use it as a as a makeshift splint.
Huh.
He nods and says yes, and he can kind of see that some of the rope that fell down has been unwoven at the end. So it looks like some of it was pulled apart so that they could be tied.
So we have an injured orc out there somewhere. I asked him if he could tell which way he went, looking between the two exits.
He looks between the two. And after perhaps 10 minutes of walking through dark cavern, you see a small glow of light in the distance. It's not long before you reach the rocky cave mouth, the base of a rocky hill.
I'm gonna walk out in the open, see if we can find anything that like tells us that he came through here physically.
There is a rocky canyon, kind of splits between two hilly ranges. Goes off, kind of zigzags beyond your path of vision. Aramil says that this way and this way both lead to outlets of the river that runs through Fallcrest. And this way is dry and doesn't lead to any water source. He says that the orc took the other orc's canteen with him, which might indicate that he had a long, dry journey. He would not necessarily have taken that with him, added the extra weight, if he was going to be by a water source very soon.
So we went this way.
Thinks he
Probably.
went this way.
Since he's prepared to not be around water.
Mm-hmm.
I will still kind of following the rat,
Mm-hmm.
watching him, see what he does.
The rat just looks around, starts smelling things with interest. It doesn't seem to have the goal of getting out or going anywhere in particular, but he stays nearby to you.
Give him a piece of cheese. It's cool.
He gratefully accepts it.
And start walking.
As you begin moving forward through the rocky canyon, he tells you to keep an eye out for any red moss clinging to the south side of any rocks. There are moss berries that that only orc stomachs can process. A few other animals as well, but for the most part in this area, there's a kind of berry that everything else stays away from, but the orcs eat them up because they can handle it, and it gives them like an energy boost. They're like caffeinated, essentially.
Interesting.
So for long journeys, they'll
Energy berries.
yeah, basically just rip them off the moss with the south walls, and so you can one way. So he tells you to look out for any red moss, and let him know if you see any. So go ahead and roll spot.
What is it with fives? Dice.
Getting a lot of fives on this dice.
I'm gonna spend my last luck point to reroll this.
Okay.
That's a little better.
There we go.
It's hit and miss.
Okay. You find a patch in an outcropping of rocks. You are the first to find it. You get 2 luck points. Kind of reaches in with his hand and kind of like swipes through into the moss, pulls out and sees that there's some like freshly picked berry juice that's from the stems as they're off, and it hasn't dried up yet, which indicates that the orc has been here probably less than an hour ago, and that he's probably, apart from his leg, he's also probably slowed from the brightness of the sun. It's a little darker in here because of the shade and some of the trees, but orcs don't handle the daylight as well as humans do.
Interesting.
As you continue on walking, he tells you a bit more about these particular kinds of orcs. He says that the Bloodspear orcs are bigger, stronger, and better organized than your typical orc. Their shaman breed them with other species, such as giants and ogres. And some suspect there may even be hobgoblin blood in these orcs. to instill sort of a military efficiency mindset that the hobgoblins are known for. Every 100 years or so, their numbers swell out of control, and they spill out of the mountains and start raiding nearby settlements, towns. And it was about 100 years ago that they ravaged the Vale, and it barely survived. Some think that the Vale is overdue for another orc war, and that the three who attacked yesterday were just testing the town's defenses. You continue on through the canyon. It goes on for about a mile before it splits. Alright, so you're coming along this way here. It's the two of you. And you can see up ahead that there are it tees off into two smaller canyonways. He turns this way first and has you look for any moss berries or any red moss that you can find. You know, you see some, but they haven't been picked.
Okay.
They're just sitting there. You go along the way, and he sees some more, but they haven't been picked. And you go along the way, and you see some more. They haven't been picked. And so after about a half mile of that, two of you turn around, head back this way, try this way, and you see almost immediately that there are a few clusters that have been picked dry.
Back on the trail.
Indeed. And you see that every few hundred feet, there's a few more that have been just clawed messily off the wall. But after about a half a mile or so, it stops, and they're all just fresh after that point. So after a while of it being fresh, he just turns you guys around and has you look out. Well, he's going to look too, but tells you to keep a lookout for any kind of small or concealed cave mouth that the orc might have gone into.
Interesting. Roll. Let's do it. Not a 5.
10.
4. Yeah, I'll spend points on it. That's fine.
You spend 6 points to find it first? Otherwise, he'll find it.
Oh. Alright. We're good.
Alright. He gets your attention. Kind of points. But also gestures to be quiet.
I hit B to crouch. Head over to him.
Alright. It's mostly obscured by vines. It'd be very easy to miss. But when you're really looking for it, pulls the curtain of vines aside. Tells you to ready the torch.
Torch up.
Head inside.
Yep.
Alright.
I go first.
Now, do you have anything else? Do you have the torch in one hand and...
Is the cave big enough I can stand in, or have to crawl?
No, it's big enough you can stand in.
I got the torch on one hand and the sword in the other.
Sword in the other, okay.
And the shield on the torch hand.
I'll allow it. Yeah, okay.
As a push comes to shove, I can always drop the torch and still have my shield.
Yes, indeed. That's good thinking.
Crossbow's in my mouth, ready to fire. It will.
The cave mouth itself is actually fairly large. It's just almost entirely concealed by vines, so they have to be pulled back. Get inside and see, before long, it opens into a natural cavern with no real features that stick out, with the exception of looks like a large crack in the far end of the wall.
Okay.
It seems to narrow out considerably.
Better than that, there's nothing in this room. Just walk right through then, but still keep an eye out.
Absolutely. Cautiously.
Cautiously. Yes, cautiously cross the room. Running guns blazing.
Aramil draws 2 curved short swords, of elven make, of course. Stays close to you, but keeps his eyes kind of dashing from side to side, ready for anything that might spring out. Skaven, nearby?
Yep.
Alright. So you draw near the crack in the far side of the wall. He becomes agitated. Greatly agitated. Starts kind of like screeching in a kind of rat-like way.
Basically alerting, kind of.
Yeah, and then runs for your backpack. Just scurries up like a bullet to hide. It looked like he was looking in this direction over here.
I'll spin around and torch out.
You turn. And you see a rustling of the light as the vines are being pulled back. And you see a great hulking form, perhaps 7.5, 8 feet tall. He hulks into the room. His skin is similar gray to the orcs. You just barely get a glint of his features. And your first instinct is, this looks like some kind of half orc, half giant.
He's a mixed breed. Look at the elf with
Yeah, this all happens within just a few moments, and he
like
takes
I got
notice
turned on
and sees.
and
He
look at
follows, and you look at each other.
It's like, run.
Run, he says. Turns and heads for the crack in the wall as the orc half giant starts charging into the room. Bends down, scrapes up a chunk of rock on the side of the cavern, and hurls it. He has a +7 to attack. 7, yeah.
Oh. Yes.
9 total. Alright. The stone explodes on the cavern wall just a few inches beside you as you pull in and pull yourself into the crack in the wall. And he's fast. He makes up the speed and is charging after you, and looks like he's going to take a grab in to try and grab you as you're scurrying through the narrow part. Roll initiative. He has a 1.
Oof.
14. Now you can take it up with luck points if you want.
Oh, you rolled 14?
Total, yeah. Or
shit.
he can have a chance to grab you.
No. That's not what I want.
Worth the luck points?
Can I spend like 10 luck points just not have him touch
Just
me?
to be absolutely sure. You only need
20 luck points, I just magically get away.
4 luck
But yeah.
points.
Do I have to spend?
4, yeah.
Alright. Yeah. It's just like
You
right
feel,
there.
yeah, you feel his meaty paws just barely scrape, like his fingernails scrape against your leather armor on your side as you pull back just out of his grasp, and he's furious and just kind of drooling out the side of his mouth.
I'm like nudging the elf for it. Go, dude, go.
Yeah, and the two of you are scurrying out of his way until his angry cries become distant, muddled. You are now moving through a very narrow, cramped tunnel area, which eventually broadens out to be a little more comfortable, and then tees off. About halfway down, at a particularly narrow part where kind of you have to almost like zigzag and kind of struggle to get through, you find filaments of the rope that the orc used, presumably to tie up his bindings with. Looks like some of them rubbed off in this part.
Interesting.
But it's a clear sign that he did come this way. And since he's aligned with the half-orc giant, or the orc half-giant, it would not have been an enemy to him. It clearly is to you. But regardless, he had to come this way. And wanted to go this way. And probably indicates that this is a route back to where he came from.
Interesting.
And that the half-giant was probably guarding the cave, or the area of the cave, yeah.
Interesting. Here's a door, man. Alright.
Keep going left, we'll be fine eventually.
Yeah, that's what I've done this before. Just always go left.
Yeah.
For like
just be patient.
45 days.
Just stick with it, and you will get out.
I mean, I think through the whole thing, but eventually, yeah.
It was actually 10 feet to your right, but there's no way you could have known that.
It was even light. I'm not sure what you did.
Alright, well, regardless, you come to the T. Skaven calms down, gets out, and scurries out, smells the air. Kind of runs this way, sniffs the air, runs this way, sniffs the air, back and forth again. And then again, just to be sure, but then returns confidently and faces this way. You look like you're about to head off that way. The Aramil stops you and says, "That is our exit. But these tunnels, the tunnels beneath the Moon Hills, some of them lead to the Underdark, which lead back up to the mountains in which these orcs dwell."
Interesting.
So it's more of an indicator that he'd be going this way. 'Cause this would just lead back up to somewhere in the Moon Hills, and less likely that they'd be camped out there. More likely that they'd be back where they live.
You just gave him a little pat in the head, and kind of to entice him to go north or up.
Oh, okay. Doesn't seem to like the idea, but the cheese just takes over his mind, and so follows you along this way. Occasionally keeps looking back and sniffing the air, trying to give you the hint. No, this way. Doesn't understand.
Right. He doesn't know.
No. He's doing the best he can. So good for him.
Main quest game, don't worry
Yep.
about it.
Yep. Alright, you head that way. The tunnel opens into a cavern, riddled with old, thick stalagmites and stalactites that touch down, becoming pillars. Skaven sniffs and begins to wig out. Not quite as much like he did with the orc half giant.
But he's clearly reacting.
He's clearly reacting to something.
I'll look at the elf, make sure he sees what's going on.
He takes notice.
This is
make sure.
This is like a second time now, so I'll pull my sword out. Yeah, the rat go back in the backpack if he likes. Just head out there. Now this is pitch black besides the torchlight, right? Obviously, there's no light coming from here.
No, nothing like that. Yeah, not for a long time. No.
So I'm total darkness besides a little light source. All right. So what I'm gonna do is just look at the elf and kind of nod to go forward cautiously and just keep an eye out as best as possible as we make our way.
You get to about here. You hear scratching noise.
Focus on it as best as possible.
Roll listen.
I'll spend 2 points to make that a 10.
Okay. You don't know exactly, but it sounds generally from this area here.
Well, to the elf. Kind of motion with my head. I'm sure he's heard it.
Hold the torch out, kind of focus on the area, and you can just barely see the strap of a canteen peeking out from behind, this thick natural pillar.
I'm gonna call out to him and say, we see you.
This surprises Aramil, I'm sure, as much as your voice echoes out. What are you trying to achieve?
I'm trying to get him to show himself.
Roll charisma.
Oh, awful.
Husky voice calls out back in a language you do not understand. Aramil seems to understand it, though.
That's basically just exactly what I do. Like, as soon as he says something, I look at him to see if he gets it.
He says, you won't see him until it's too late.
So I'm gonna a little bit of love here. Like, this is the guy that attacked our squad, right? Okay. So I don't really want to make friends.
I wouldn't advise making friends with this guy.
Alright.
There are plenty of people to make friends with in this world. This is probably not one of them.
Oh, to the
But
elf.
if you have an inclination and you want to spend some success points to make something miraculous happen, you can do that. That's within your power. Don't let me tell you what to do. I'm saying normal charisma roll is not going to hack it.
I'm going to sheath my sword and shield, just put that away, and put the crossbow. I look at the elf, and I basically motion him, like if we're here, assuming he's somewhere around here, I motion him to kind of try to come around this way and flank him. We're gonna do send out the rat, or try to attempt to send out the rat to basically like distract him, essentially, to get him to focus on the rat just long enough to hopefully either me or the elf gets a shot at him. That's my plan.
That's an interesting plan. I like it. Okay. You want to place yourself with a token? And I'll have Aramil here sweep over here to flank. Now you want him here, and you like over here?
Yeah, I'm basically right there.
Okay.
Now, assuming he's
Send Skaven and try to send Skaven in over here.
Let's see if I can send the rat in.
All right. How do you try to send him in? Try like shoo or something.
I'm actually going to
He's still very uncomfortable the closer you get to this guy.
Huh?
The rat becomes more uncomfortable the closer you get. That cheese.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some cheese.
Hurl a piece of cheese over in this area.
Yep. I'm sitting down on the ground and literally just throw cheese.
I wish you could see the look on the orc's face. This piece of cheese just... Is he supposed to be insulted? Smells good though.
He bends over, picks of cheese, and takes shots at him. I still got it.
You hurl the piece of cheese over. Lands right about here. Skaven just reflexively forgets his fear as soon as the cheese starts flying out from your hand and starts running for it even as it's in the air. It bounces around, and just a few moments later, Skaven charges up and goes for it.
Waiting to see if there's a ration all from him. See how it plays out. Technically, I could use the success point to make that automatically.
Well, here's what happens, guys. You don't have to. You throw it out. Skaven runs out, grabs the cheese. As soon as it has it in its mouth, looks up, looks over at this pillar here, or behind this pillar here, shrieks, and then starts running this way, returning to you, giving it a wide berth.
In that case, to find out how much I'm allowed to do here, if he continues to go, the elf's over here, being in line inside of him, depending on whatever he does, I'm going to start going this way to essentially flank him.
Okay.
And the rat basically will probably run around and be scared. You can come back.
It returns to your
yeah,
backpack immediately, as soon as it can. Yeah.
Sweet.
The torch. Where do you leave the torch?
It's gonna identify me or whatever. That's fine. But yeah, just drop it on the ground.
Maybe like leave it where you split up.
Yeah.
All right. So at least he doesn't know for sure.
Maybe there's another one.
Yeah. All right. So you leave the torch there. So that's casting shadows like that.
Well, yeah,
creep up
a lot closer to him than he is to the elf.
Well. Do you like creep up behind this one here, or?
Well, as everything's kind of transitioning,
Uh-huh.
The rat comes back.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's still coming this way,
Yep,
so I would
he is.
eventually. I might pause here, but I intend to flank him.
You get to get over here, and as he clears this part here, as he clears over here, Aramil signals to you just. All right, but you can make out his features since it's not that far away. Aramil seems to be signaling you that he can see him, that he can see the orc from his angle behind it. Roll move silently.
Oof.
You try to get close, but you scrape on a few pebbles here and there and make some scraping sounds. And the orc angles himself so that he's opposite of where you're coming from, but leaving himself open to here, but this guy's further away. Aramil slowly and quietly sheathes his blades and goes for a short bow. It's over his shoulder.
I'm going to actually take a shot at the orc, but I don't intend to hit him. I basically want to hit where he's hiding behind in order to kind of set him off guard. So he's being fired at, and hopefully he responds right.
Okay, absolutely.
So that the elf can take
All right.
a shot.
Roll don't botch and you can hit the pillar.
11.
Crossbow bolt deflects, pings off the stone. A moment later, he peers out from one side, arrow drawn, and tries to get a line on you as you're moving back behind the pillar. Roll initiative.
Some good music for this. What is with fives today?
Jeez.
9 total. But I'll spend say 2 points to make it an 11.
Well,
Does that work or no?
for initiative?
Yeah.
Yes, roll initiative yet.
Oh, I suppose I
You
can
don't
still
even know
run.
yet.
Alright. So yeah.
Alright.
Fair enough.
He's got
I got
penalties.
ahead of myself.
He's in rough shape and he's got penalties, so alright. He's got only a +1 to initiative. 17.
Oof. Yeah. I'm gonna have it.
Let him have it?
Yeah.
Alright. He lets fly an arrow. If it hits you, it'll clip your arm or your shoulder or something like that. Critical hit might
In bed.
get your neck or something like that. We'll see. plus 6. 11.
How about them 5s?
Your AC 12.
12.
Yeah.
Oh. 1 point, baby.
Jeez, that's close. All right.
That's about as close as it gets.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually
In fact,
pretty cool.
in that case, it actually grazes the armor since it's cutting into that too, but doesn't cut through. So, yeah, you feel just the wing clip you, but it does 0 damage.
That works out really well.
So you have a nice little arrow mark on your armor for the Fae to repair later.
Not first battle scar.
Or you could leave out a note. Could you just leave this one alone, you guys? All right. Well, the arrow just barely avoids cutting into you, and he whips back behind his pillar. Moment after that, Aramil, let's fly.
Boy.
Mm.
Hopefully that is an elf.
You see the flash, the glint of an arrow fly by, a little fleck of blood splatter with it as it does. So it probably looks like he just grazed him, but not enough to sink in.
Alright, I'm going to put little balls to the wall here.
Mm.
Got a little confidence out of the last fight. Going, just missed a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling kind of good. So what I do is drop the crossbow, pull my sword and shield, and I'm going to eventually come around here and just have my shield up in case he pops around the corner.
He does pop around the corner. He no longer has his bow out. He's got an axe in one hand, and he's got a canteen wrapped up around like the back of his wrist. The straps here, just kind of like a mini shield to try and take any arrows that you might fire at him. You didn't know you were going to rush out with a sword, but he has kind of like a very mini buckler modified that he has, and charges out with the same intention that you have. So you both, but he outweighs you by probably like 150 pounds.
All right.
And at this point, you realize that Aramil does not have a line of sight to offer aid with his bow at that point, and you're not really sure what he's doing. In any case,
Roll initiative.
roll initiative.
If I get a 5, I'm gonna eat this dice. Oh, now we're talking.
+1. 21.
Oh, dude. Natural 20 me, man.
Afraid he did. There's no getting around a natural 20.
Oh.
You'd have to spend a success point.
Yeah,
to,
that's. I think
to
that's
do
the only
that.
way.
Are you going to do that? I'll allow it, but I mean, otherwise you're having an orc attack, swing an axe at you. That's what's going to happen.
I think I'm gonna have to.
He might
Well,
not
this is
make
no
the
hard
attack.
feelings, but
He might not make the attack, and you could spend luck points to reduce his
I
points.
want,
That's an
I
option.
want to trump your 20, but
But if you
I think
no, it's trumpable by with a success point. That's the whole game invested in one roll. So absolutely.
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do it.
Okay. Turns back down to a 1. You botched. How unfortunate. All right.
So I have initiative.
You have the initiative.
So what I'm gonna do is pretty similar to the last time I had to fight at work. I'm going to get his shield up,
Yeah.
sword out. I'm gonna go like under the shield, basically like gut stab him, but also try to like throw my weight into him, like push him back a little, as much. Probably not gonna do as much as
Charging
I like,
through
but
as
just, like,
opposed to
yeah.
running up to. Yeah.
and just kind of throw myself into him.
Yeah.
Because if he hits me, I'm probably down.
Roll attack.
Brutal.
Probably gonna just want to. Well, his AC is.
Yeah, what's his armor class?
Oh, well, his AC is 14.
Alright, so 5, so I have to spend 9.
9 to hit.
Yep.
Alright, roll damage.
I'll take it. 5. D6 plus 1.
So you run up to him, and not only you get extra damage also because he is running towards you with such like ferocity and force, and you can see that his leg is splintered up, but he's on adrenaline now. It's life and death mode. He's pushing through it.
Yeah, it's fire or flight. He's in fight.
Yeah, exactly. And he's swinging down, and you run in and slam into him, but he outweighs you considerably. So while you slam into him and your sword sinks in, you are knocked back.
It's like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, a brick wall falls on you and then knocks you back and falls on top of you, and his whole weight goes down into the blade, which just sinks out through his back. And as he goes down, he smashes his head on the ground and blood just spurts on the rocky floor. And he breathes his last.
Yeah, I catch your breath, take a moment, realize, and call out to the elf. Get him off me!
Well, a moment later, you see he is moving cautiously but quickly.
Trying to...
When he sees down, he breaks into a full stride and runs over. And has to give a good bit of his strength to...
Maybe we can like roll with it or something.
Yeah, totally. He helps you roll and pulls him off, and you have to yank your sword out of his chest.
Pretty intense.
But you survived.
Actually, is there another kind of souvenir I can get off this guy? Maybe this is gonna be a thing of mine. I click stuff off the canteen.
Yeah. You take his canteen.
That's what. Yep.
Right.
That's gonna be his object.
Very cool. All right, you take your canteen. It's usable, or you can put it on a shelf or something.
It's a usable item.
And it's big. It's bigger than a normal human canteen would be because these orcs are bigger and they need a lot of water for their long journeys.
I like it.
So you have a plus-sized canteen.
Plus, yes. Awesome. All right, so that's one problem solved. Seems we have obviously a bigger one on our hands.
Yes, indeed. But Aramel says that, well, now we know more than we did. We know the basic direction to where he's going. He says he imagines that if we follow this tunnel, that if you were to follow this tunnel, that it would lead into the Underdark, which is not a place he has any desire to go under the circumstances. Not without a map or something like that. You search the body.
Huh?
You search the body?
Yeah.
All right.
You got any coin or anything? Anything besides my trinket? I took.
You find hidden, tucked away on a leather fold of one of his boots, leather map. It's been kind of folded up. It's wedged in there. It's not super detailed. It's got a few lines, a few like rings, a few markings here and there. But you show it to Aramil, and he believes it's probably a map leading through the Underdark to their base. A quest for another day, he says.
We're gonna get the troop together.
He asks if he may hold on to it to study it for the time being.
Absolutely.
He says we must hurry to be back in time. Head up. And you get back to that T intersection where Skaven smelled the fresh air. And you follow that and let him lead you through a few more, intersections here and there. We finally exit to a small rocky cave mouth, about 1.5 miles away from the one you came in. So a safe enough distance from the orc half-giant.
Back door, if you would.
Indeed. And once you get out and Aramil looks around, he says he's familiar with this area and he can get you back to Fallcrest easily enough. He says, best to hurry though, as the sun is beginning to set and these hills are not safe after dark.
Set back. Post haste.
Indeed. Quest complete. You gain 1 success point, 5 luck points, I believe that's what it said. And you gain favored enemy, orcs, +1 damage. For killing the orc, you gain 3 luck points. And I should have given you 3 luck points for the other one you killed as well. That was bad on my part. So I'll give you them retroactively, and I'll give you a bonus luck point for failing as DM to do that one. I should have. You want to issue luck points for a good kill, or a good. It doesn't necessarily have to be a kill, but dealing with something.
Good plan, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You get back to town. People see you walking with Aramil. Folks kind of point and stare and talk with interest, seeing you side by side with one of the local adventurers. Especially in a time of crisis.
It's a good image.
It is a good image. People start to wonder, well, who's that guy? Why is he here? Oh, that's Stomper. Oh, he's the one from the militia. Jeez, he killed the orc, didn't he? Yeah. That's the kind of thing that's going around town. Well, you got work to do. Aramil says he'll be back. He'll be back to have dinner and discuss things further with you, if you like, later on. You head to work, and there's dishes to wash. After a while, Aramil comes back in. Tells you that the town council, he's spoken to them, and they're going to want him to look into an expedition into the Underdark.
Expedition?
Yes, to learn more in the future. But it's the kind of thing you have to plan on. But it's something you'll be working towards. Now, there are some records as to the caves networks around here that are in the old library. And so, at some point, you may have to go in there and take a look around. Which you have the keys for.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
There's a map room in there. He sits and asks if you'd like to eat with him.
I agree.
He asks you how whatever became of that Fey offering dish.
I'll be honest and tell him that I use it. And assuming he knows how it works.
He's a very good poker face, but you actually register some surprise when you admit to doing that. He says, a bold move, so long as you can maintain the offering. Do you have a backup plan in case you should be away for more than a day?
I do not know.
So I suggest you find a local confidant. Perhaps share in your good fortune. He inquires how you learned of it, how you learned to use it.
Be honest with that too. Tell him piece of paper and everything, and studying over time.
Takes great interest. It says, so you've been into the library already.
Nod.
So, oh, that's useful. He says this book, Tome of the Hill Folk. He asks to see it, and says that if he can, he will try to discern the pronunciation guide to learn what the word is that was written on that piece of paper.
Tell him I can get it right now.
Alright, it's easy as that. Go up, get it.
Excuse myself, and go upstairs, grab the book.
Set it down. He looks at it, looks it over. He nods. He says, this word, I believe it is a name. Gozimar. Gozimar. Beyond that, he has no idea what it could mean.
That's not a word, it's someone's name. It could be his diary, it could be his spell book, his autobiography.
Interesting or curious that it should be just simply written on a scrap of paper and hidden away in a belt buckle. He says, perhaps a password.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
But to what, he says, I could not say. Finishes his food and wishes you a pleasant rest of your evening. Heads out for the night.
Tell him thank you for all the help, etc. and so forth. Most polite. Password. Alright.
It's your turn to tend bar. And when you're done, place closes up. Head on up to your room. And that is where we leave Fallcrest and return to the bitter cold of Wisconsin.
Oh joy.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you. That was awesome.
That was a good game.